This operation, Pay It Forward, it took over a year, and there was a lot of gear and a lot of things involved.
So we're out here, we finally made it out. We're in southern Idaho in the Subwet Range for the Operation Pay It Forward hunt.
I'm retired Staff Sergeant Michael Burns, U.S. Army, at the age of 32 in late 2002 with the conflict that was currently going on in Afghanistan. I felt like I couldn't sit back and complain about what's happening in this world and with our nation if I wasn't willing to do my part. And my wife, being the woman that she is, just smiled at me and said, do what you feel you need to do. So I enlisted late 2002 and went into the military.
So day one, we set up on the edge of a wheat field overlooking a drainage in an area where I'd seen deer before when I'd scouted up there. Unfortunately, we didn't see much. There was a little bit more pressure around the ranch than we had originally expected, but that's just part of the game. So we're gonna change it up tomorrow and look in some different spots and see if we can locate these bucks.
I just wanted to kind of introduce what we're trying to do here. This started a little over 2 years ago. Steve McIntosh and myself on a phone call, and since then it's been a lot of people and a lot of effort. Obviously, you'll see we have some people that we want to recognize that donated products. None of those people actually asked to be recognized, but we felt like we need to make sure that all of you out there, everyone in America understands, which companies are willing to help their veterans. And all the ones that we contacted weren't promised anything. So they donated these things out of the goodness of their hearts. And stay tuned, and hopefully we have quite an adventure for you.
We're at the end of day two. We selected a different location to try and find some of these bucks. Yesterday we didn't really see anything, so there's a water source and a decent bowl that we could set up in that I think we could get in and out of pretty well. So we set up there and glassed, and we did have some does and a small buck come out. It was pretty exciting to get into some deer. Michael was pretty excited. The buck was pretty small. It was a 2x2 or 2x3 maybe, but it was a young deer. So he elected to pass on that buck and hold out for something that was a little more mature. So on Sunday night, I received a call from my sister that my mom wasn't doing well. That she probably wasn't going to make it. So, I was kind of torn because this has been such a long process in the planning to make this happen for Michael. And, both of us have always said it's bigger than the two of us. And obviously family comes first, so there was no doubt in my mind that I needed to go down there. Michael was the same way, there's family's first, so there was no doubt that I needed to go, but I kind of struggled with how do we finish this project and how do we make this a great experience for Michael. And honestly, I didn't know how that was going to happen, but needless to say, Monday morning we did our morning hunt, and because my flight wasn't until 11:30 or 12, so after that Michael drove me back down to the Salt Lake City airport, and I took a flight to Denver. And he was ready to call it quits on the whole thing, just because obviously this is something that none of us planned and something that I had to deal with. And I told him that I needed him to keep going and keep doing this, that it can't end because of this. And I know my mom well enough that she would have wanted it to keep going as well if she knew about this project, and she always said how proud of me she was about just initiating it and that type of thing, and I wanted to make sure it kept going. But needless to say, it was not something that was in the plans or in the works, and I just didn't know what kind of effect it was going to have, but family comes first, I had to leave.
Eric Tamick, our camera guy, went out and did some scouting one afternoon. I found just this sweet little setup area. A little bit of a climb to get up to it, kind of a steep incline. Probably the hardest thing I've climbed to this point on the hunt with my prosthetic. We'd seen some does in that area before, a couple days prior when we were glassing. So we thought, well, you know, maybe we'll get a good buck coming in. Sure enough, you know, evening time, I spot this just monster muley come barreling over the top of the hill. And, you know, I've been in, you know, of course, some high stress scenarios, firefights, things like that on my deployments. And it's funny, up until this point, even all my hunting experiences, I've always been really calm. But man, that adrenaline instantly kicked in. I got fired up. I was hitting my rangefinder on this buck, and he finally got within range for a shot. I squeezed a round off, and man, it looked like a good shot. It looked like it was a little far back and maybe a little bit of a gut shot, but I was positive that I hit him. The deer ran uphill and to the right, probably about another 15, 20 yards, then he stopped. And Eric says, hey, put another one in him. So I squeezed another round off, and it looked like I grazed his ear. I've never seen a deer swing his head that way, but he finally just thrashed his head around, jumped up and took off running again. And I knew on that shot that I had missed that one. So after spending about a week down in southern Idaho, out at Gary's ranch there, hunting the mule deer, we decided to continue the adventure, and we pushed up north. Eric's got some property up there up along the Snake River. We went and kind of reestablished our campsite there, and decided we were going to go out and try and see if we could harvest a bear.
So there are a lot of bears in this area. You see sign everywhere, but it's pretty thick. So initially we started calling with some distress calls. We tried that out. It's been successful before. And it's such a large area with a lot of terrain that, you know, I thought maybe we need to set up a bit of a bait site just to bring bears into the area and kind of focus our attention on one spot. So we set up an impromptu bait site, and that was kind of the focus for that evening. So our plan was to hunt through Sunday, leave Sunday afternoon. So we went out Sunday morning, and like anyone that's been out hunting, you just want to keep trying. You know, it's that. And Michael had the same spirit. You know, you don't want to leave empty-handed. One more shot. You know, if I hang out just a little bit longer, that bear will come in. And so we hunted Sunday morning, and we decided to hang out and hunt Sunday evening as well.
So the landowner, Gary, that allowed us to come out and hunt mule deer out on his property there in Idaho, had approached us after having a few days out there hunting and not really coming up on much, missing a shot, which I don't want to talk anymore about, but missing that shot on that muley. So, and he approached us and said that his brother-in-law, Daryl, had a dairy farm not too far from there that he had some bison on, and basically heard what was going on with Operation Pay It Forward and the hunt out there with me, and offered the opportunity for me to go out and take a bison. So just totally beside myself with that offer. I mean, what a opportunity. I mean, I know guys that have put in their entire lives trying to get a tag for a bison, and here one is just being offered up to me out of the blue. So of course, you know, humbly accepted that offer. She needs to turn a little bit more. I don't want to hit the shoulder. Here we go. Ready?
Hold.
Let me know when I'm clear.
Yep.